I see a lot of coaches and their call to action or their link in their bio is book a call. This just, it's not working and isn't cutting it anymore. It's low clarity. Like, why would I book a call? What do I get out of that? It doesn't seem clear. It just feels like it could be a waste of time, but it could be amazing. But there's a high risk if I don't have a level of certainty or proof that you're going to be able to get me these results. Hey coach, Xenia Wood here, and this is the Swift Coaches Academy podcast, created for service-based business owners who are ambitious enough to break free from the forever hustle and create scalable businesses that truly make an impact while also giving us freedom. With more than a decade of experience, we're not here to waste your time on theory. Instead, just sharing what works and what doesn't to help you get clear as fuck on your next move and show you exactly how to implement the systems and strategies that you need to scale with confidence. Welcome back to another episode. Today, the personal update is about me getting back on the train of app blocking almost everything in my life between certain hours and just really trying to, I guess, down-regulate myself in times when I'm not working. The reason this has come about is because I am a sucker for a doom scroll, and it just frustrates me so much that I do this. And so I was like, Xenia, like, what were you doing when this wasn't as big of a problem for you in your life? And I just sort of went back and I was like, I was using these app blockers on my phone. I had like sleep mode or like rest mode turned onto my phone in the settings section where you can like grayscale your phone between certain hours. So I do that between like 5 p.m. and like 7 a.m. so that when I'm working, because I need my phone to work for social media or whatever, then that's okay. But then I also have time limits on my phone. So I've been like on this the last couple of days, this really intense, like, let's really dial this shit down. And even in the last couple of days, what I've noticed is, firstly, it's just provided me more awareness on how frequently I do use my phone. Before I put these app blocks on, the app is called Habits, and it looks like a little like arrow in a circle fashion. And so if you want to use that, then I'd highly recommend it. But most of the other stuff I'm using is just in the like settings section of Android. Yes, I'm an Android user, even though I have everything else Mac. Don't at me. It is what it is, and Android phones are better. So that's that. Um, so basically, with the apps setting section, I can not only I can limit like the time that I use it. So it could be maximum 30 minutes a day, or it can be not able to open certain apps between certain hours of the day, or I think you can set it to certain locations. So perhaps if you're like at the gym, you can say like, don't allow any of these apps to be open. So you're not like scrolling between sets or whatever. And I found it so helpful because it's just allowed me to like have some space to I guess be a little bit more like bored as opposed to like grabbing for my phone all the time, because we are basic humans and our psychology wants to give us dopamine and we get hits from that. But I know that this isn't supportive for me, what I want. And so just implementing even like one of those strategies, not having notifications on my phone, like I've always had notifications off. My phone's on silent 24/7. I don't ever look at it. I've been putting it in like separate rooms when I've been doing certain things so that I'm not tempted to just grab it because it's within arm's reach. I found that's really helpful too. So would recommend, if you feel like you're also being frustrated at yourself by what you're doing because our simple human lizard brain has taken over for a period and you find yourself in a bit of a doom scroll too. So hopefully that helps you on a personal sense and or a business sense, so you can spend more time doing the things that are going to get you to your goals. So today I am going to be talking about what I see most coaches doing when they're looking to, I guess, generate leads or bring new clients on board in their business, and why that's not working and what we get our coaches to do instead. So firstly, the problem that most coaches are facing right now is that trust is absolutely tanking, particularly online. Yeah. So, too many coaches are making or have made really big promises that they haven't kept. And so it's left us in this like really low trust environment where we're hyper skeptical of everyone on the internet. Or maybe we're just back to a normal level of skepticism. Like back in 2018 to 2020, someone told you something on the internet and you almost like instantly trusted them, rather than like now people are doing like deep dive Reddit threads to see if, this person was a bad coach, or, there's lots of different methods of people going through like Google reviews or asking people who are in their programs and things like that to make sure that they're getting a great outcome. And these are things that I do and would recommend as well. But the thing is that our audiences are getting more switched on and they're not going to be falling for, or they're not going to just be saying yes so easily. So even if you do have a great program, even if you are a fucking excellent coach, there's probably going to be people who didn't absolutely love what you did. And there's also probably going to be people who are going to want receipts of proof before they purchase. Now, if you don't have any of those, that's a problem because people are looking for them and you have the ability to provide that to them. But basically, trust is tanking. Yeah. Now, the problem is that I see a lot of coaches and their call to action or their link in their bio is book a call. And this just isn't cutting it anymore, to be honest. It feels risky for clients right now because they're putting their time and their energy into you when they barely even know you. Yeah, it's a really high commitment thing, even if there's no money exchange involved, but it's low clarity. Like, why would I book a call? What do I get out of that? It doesn't seem clear. It just feels like it could be a waste of time, but it could be amazing. But there's a high risk if I don't have a level of certainty or proof that you're going to be able to get me these results. And the problem with saying book a call is not that you can't say that. It's just the placement and when you put that in, I guess, the life cycle of a lead to a sale. And if you just start with book a call, it's kind of like walking up to some random guy in the street and being like, let's go on a date. You're like, whoa, like maybe at first glance, they might be like, oh, yeah, but most of the time they're like, who the fuck are you, right? Like it feels very abrupt to just jump into book a call. So we want to be able to first provide upfront value instead of having someone else take the risk on us and book a call to sit with us for a certain period of time. Yeah. There's also a shift in buying behavior. So back in the day, people would buy coaching programs. People would buy meal plans or exercise guides or whatever you were offering that was the thing. So they would buy, like, I guess, the process, i.e. they would buy coaching or programs. Now, people may get that, but they're not buying that. What they're buying are outcomes. Yeah. People don't just want coaching anymore. They don't want a program. They don't want a meal plan. What they want is proof and certainty of results. So instead of being like a meal plan, it's like lose 4 kilos in 4 weeks, right? They want the result. And if that means they have to eat, certain foods to be able to get to that, cool. But they want to know that they can get the outcome first. Your method or even the industry you're in or how you get them that is secondary to the outcome. We need to be outcome focused, not services focused. Yeah. The third reason why we have a problem in terms of our booking a call not working anymore or potentially not having as many leads as we would like or have had in the past is that there's, I believe, a bit of a shift. And this might be a little bit controversial and different to what I've spoken about in the past, but I think there's a new way to generate long-term clients. And what I'm seeing is not that people are spending less money, although perhaps in some places in their life they are. But what I'm seeing is that people are still willing to drop literally thousands of dollars on their health and what they want if they can see that they can get a transformation first. Yeah. So that could be some free value that you give them, or it could be shifting to a model where it's a lower initial commitment in terms of duration and or potentially dollars, but then you solve that problem and then you upsell or on-sell or cross-sell them into the next problem or the next phase. Yeah. So again, it's not that people aren't purchasing high ticket items or anything like that. People are just being more discerning with where they put their dollars. And if you have an option for someone to not try before you buy, but do like a real deep dive taster into what it would be like to work with you, people are so much more willing to do that. This just reminds me now of the exact method of how I joined the gym that I'm at. I was looking at a fair few places, and the one that I signed up to was the first one that I went to. But the reason that I chose to even go there in the first place is because they had 3 group classes that I could attend for free. Yeah. Most other places think, oh, that's too much value to give. Like, I don't want to give someone a whole week. Like, that's a lot. They might give you like one session. But because I got a real taste of what it was like before I committed to something, I was like, fuck yes, I'm in. And the amount of people who probably attend those 3 sessions and don't sign up, I would assume is quite low. And because it's a group session, they're not really losing anything whether I attend or not. So I think it was a great option to have that like free 3-day trial for me to then make up my mind and get a really good sense of what it's like. Even to be honest, if that was paid, I would have paid it to test that out at a lower commitment because I'm wanting to pay for something, but I just want to be sure first. Yeah. So what's the solution then to coaches getting more clients booked in? I believe it revolves around showing, not just telling people how you get results. So a lot of what we see on social media is people telling you how they get results, but they don't show you. So when you see someone being like, oh, yep, and we'll do this meal plan and we'll talk about this, or even on a sales conversation, if you're saying these things, that's great, but it's all theoretical, right? Versus what does really well, before and after photos. Yeah. Or imagine if you had like a little snapshot of like, this is what happens when you come into the gym. This is our first assessment. We'll go through these things. Then in phase 1, you'll do this. Then in phase 2, you'll do this. Then you'll be here. Then you'll get this result. Like if I just knew that before I came to work with you, which could be like one reel that you pin to your Instagram profile, then I would feel like I have so much more like trust and confidence in your ability to deliver because I just know what's coming. And most of us want to also see it. They don't just want to be told it. So if you can visually show that, photos, videos works really well. Even like show an example program of someone who you've worked with or show that you've worked with people who, are all soccer players. Yeah. If that's the demographic you're working with, so that I feel confident as a soccer player to be able to go, yes, I also want to work with you. Yeah. I think the other part to the solution is making sure that we give before we take. So book a call is asking for a take or an ask straight away. There's no give in that. It's, I want to take some of your time so I can show you why we're so great and you should choose us. Yeah. Let's reframe it. Instead of booking a call, what can we give them? It could be like a personalized roadmap or like a game plan to pain free, or it could be some sort of, if we're doing initial consults, it should some sort of initial process where they walk away with something of value. Yeah. So even if they don't sign up, they've still walked away being like, fuck yeah, that was awesome. And I really feel like I got a lot of value from that. Obviously, the hope is that they love it so much that they want to continue on. And you're obviously giving them, either an overview or like the very, very first step, not the entire part of the process. But I do think that the coaches who will succeed in the next couple of years are going to be the ones who give far more than they ask for or they take. So asking for people to book a call without first providing any value or any lead magnets, which we'll talk about in a second, I think these coaches are going to struggle. Yeah. So we know that the problem is there's there's a lot of low trust in the market at the moment. Booking a call doesn't seem to be working anymore. There's a shift in buying behavior where we want to talk about outcomes, not the services we offer. And people are willing to pay money for a solution, but they want it to be a solution that they're confident will get them results long term. And perhaps that comes in sort of like a paid intro offer. Yeah. Um, the solution of showing people and giving before you take, I think is really important. But let's talk about the how. Like, how do you give before you take, and what does that look like? So obviously the title of the episode talks about lead magnets and how our coaches are booking more clients through lead magnets rather than specifically the book a call link. Yeah. So I want to talk about specifically, firstly, what a lead magnet is. So a lead magnet is something that, shock horror, magnetizes leads to you. Yeah. So it's a way that gets, firstly, their attention and then their interest for them to basically exchange their contact details for something of value that you're going to provide or gift them. Usually free, sometimes can be quite low ticket. Yeah. So low ticket meaning under $100. Now let's talk about bad lead magnets, because I think a lot of coaches actually unknowingly do this. So if you feel called out by any of these, sorry, not sorry, but this is your opportunity to fix it, and prefer you get called out with me than have no fucking clients or leads. Yeah. So let's go into our bad lead magnets. So the first things that I see that are bad lead magnets or lead magnets that really don't work that well are free consults or like let's chat. Yeah. It's really vague. No one wants to book into your calendar if they don't already know, like, and trust you. Yeah. If they do, then you've probably already led them or magnetized them to you from other means. Okay. This could be in person, this could be online, whatever it is, but people aren't just willing to jump on a call with someone for no reason. Yeah. It's not 2020 where Zoom feels like the fresh new thing anymore. People are very conscious of their time. The other thing that makes a lead magnet bad is having unclear lead magnets that are not outcome and not client focused. So I'm going to give you examples of bad lead magnets, and then we'll go into what good ones look like. So a bad lead magnet example is 4 weeks of free coaching. Why? Because coaching is selling the service, not the outcome. Yep. And who the fuck is it for? I have no idea. Next option is an example exercise program. Again, no idea who it's for, no idea what outcome I'm supposed to be getting from looking at some random example exercise program. Don't even know if it's for me, let alone for my goals. Yeah. Same thing with a weight loss guide. Yeah. That tells me nothing about who it's for, who's going to be beneficial for it, and what the outcome's going to be, especially when we're working in the online space, guys. The biggest thing here is thinking about the fact that so many people probably want weight loss, probably know they need to exercise. And so if you're trying to capture everyone, you capture no one. You're screaming into the abyss of the online space, and no one is feeling like, oh my God, they're speaking directly to me. That really hit me hard. Yeah, I come back to this all the fucking time, but obviously because I'm not low key, obsessed with Taylor Swift, named both my businesses after her. Fun fact, if you didn't know that already. But she is really, really specific in her storytelling. Yeah, in her lyrics. So she won't say like, I was a boy and he was a girl and then we fell in love. Yeah. What she will say is, I was wearing a red dress. He wore a dark gray t-shirt. It was pouring in the rain. He drove a Maserati down to the end of the dead end street. And you can like visualize that in your head because it's really clear. Now, it also helps me understand if I'm her ideal client or not. Yeah. Because if I can picture myself, I may not have a red dress, but I'm a girl. I can picture myself, being swept up by a tall, dark, handsome man and a Maserati. Like I can see that. Yeah. So it instantly calls out the ideal client who she's speaking to. She's not trying to be for everybody. Next part of a bad lead magnet is people who don't tie it into and perhaps even cannibalize their core offer with a lead magnet. So I've seen this example more times than I would like to admit, but I often see people who provide like an at-home workout guide or workout program for someone who is a coach and their business is coaching clients in person in the gym with them. So if that was your goal, why would you want to provide an at-home DIY program in their own space if you're trying to get them to work in the gym with you? I get that maybe doing something is better than doing nothing, and that's kind of the angle that a lot of these coaches come to me with, and they're like, yeah, but if they do some exercise and then they'll see, it's like they're not really on the same trajectory. And so we need to make sure that our lead magnet directly aligns with and leads into the core offer that we're actually selling. Okay. So to reiterate, our bad lead magnets are vague and tell us to book a call or jump into a calendar link with no clear outcome. Our lead magnet titles are not clear on the outcome or the ideal client who we're trying to serve and help. And they don't tie into and perhaps even cannibalize our core offer. So you're obviously asking now, Xenia, what is a great lead magnet? What does that look like? I think there are 4 key things, and then I'm going to give you some examples. So number 1 is it solves one small, specific, and known problem. Okay, really important. We're going to break all this down. It's one problem. Yeah, not 7 problems, not 52, not 3, one problem. Okay, it has to be small. So we don't want them to have to take a year or even a month or even, 2 weeks to get from their current state to solving that problem. So you might have to break it down. If someone wants to lose 20 kilos, how do you help them lose 500 grams, right? How do you help them even just know what time of day they should be weighing themselves to start to get in the habit of weighing themselves if weight loss is a goal? Because we know that measuring their weight is one of the ways that we can help to get their weight down because they're just clear and they can see what the actual problem is. Yeah. It also has to be specific. So it can't be this vague, I will help you grow your business. I will help you add this much money. I will help you lose a ton of weight. Get really clear on the outcome that it is. And then it's the most important thing I think that people miss is that it needs to be a known problem for the client. So for example, I see this a lot in mindset coaches is they talk about like, oh, well, your shadow blocks are stopping you from getting to your next level in your business or whatever, as an example. If you know nothing about mindset coaching, you're like, what the fuck is a shadow block? Yeah. Um, and so you might know and understand and see that their shadow self or their ego or something in their subconscious is preventing them from getting to their next level. But if you've never done mindset coaching before, and if you were a potential client who wanted to work with a mindset coach who wasn't advanced in mindset and understanding these concepts, then you can't talk to a problem that you know they have, but they don't call it that or they don't know they have it. Yeah. So, for example, if someone's trying to lose weight and you know that if they're perimenopausal, it may not be the food they're putting in their mouth. Maybe it's about the stress in their lives, but they think it's about the food in their mouth. And they're like, oh, I'm not very stressed, but you can see markers. Then talk to them about the thing that's holding you back from losing weight. And then the thing is talking to, okay, the markers of stress, which could be puffy skin or red and inflamed skin, or it could be shortness of breath or things that they will actually be able to recognize. So really important that a great lead magnet does is solves one small, specific, and known problem. Cool. Next thing is it's easy for your ideal client to say yes to asking for downloading this lead magnet. I don't want 17 steps, but also I want them to instantly read it and go, oh my God, I need that. If it's not that, oh my God, I need that compelling, then you've missed the boat. And so you need to iterate it. And so it could be just literally what you name it. That's probably one of the most important things of a lead magnet is what you call it, because most people don't even open these lead magnets, but it is an opportunity for someone who is your exact ideal client to put out their hand and say, hey, yes, I'm your ideal client and I actually am looking for help with this right now. Yeah. So that's how specific we want to be with our lead magnet to make sure it's a super easy yes. And I am going to give you examples. Don't worry. The next thing is we want to directly tie it into our core offer. Yeah. So each lead magnet is going to be a bridge to your program. It's not a random piece of information that doesn't make sense, that's like kind of you can align it, but isn't a clear flow on. Okay. And then the fourth part of a great lead magnet is it showcases your unique system, strategy, or method. Okay. So I'm going to give you some examples. So one could be 3 exercises to fix your desk posture and improve your pain today. Yeah. Really clear who it's for. Someone who has pain and they're hunching at their desks and they want a quick fix. 3 quick exercises. We know we're not getting someone long-term results with it. That's okay. It's just a hand raiser opportunity for someone to say, yes, I want this and I want a little bit of pain relief. And then you move them into the long-term fix. Yeah. Another option, the 5-minute gut reset breakfast formula. Okay, so it tells you that I have a specific formula to reset your gut in 5 minutes with a specific breakfast formula. So I'm thinking, okay, how many carbs or protein do I need on my plate? Or it could be, something that you drink before you eat, or make sure you're removing these foods, whatever it is, but it's 5 minutes. So I'm like, fuck yeah, quick, easy win. If my gut feels, and maybe I could be more specific and I could say 5-minute IBS support for some breakfast formula, right? Or reducing IBS symptoms, something like that. So it's like, if I have a gut reset is kind of like, do I need it? Is it for me? I'm not sure. If we say IBS symptom reduction, then people who have IBS know they have IBS. Yeah. So it's really, really clear. Another one is how to train around injury, a 7-day movement plan to keep you going without making things worse. So this is ideal for people who don't want to stop moving or exercising, but need to train around an injury, and it's 7 days to help them keep moving. Yeah, so 7 days is probably like close to the longest time period, but at least you've given them, they've got the win as soon as they download it because they can see what they need to do. Yeah. So I guess the final takeaway with this in terms of getting more leads and getting more leads into clients is to make sure that we are creating an easy yes through a lead magnet to just get people to put up their hand and say, yes, I'm interested. Yes, I'm looking for help with this. And then we can, through the lead magnet and through email sequences afterwards, we can then get them to book a call because they've now gotten the value. Yeah. So by providing a lead magnet that is good and not a shit lead magnet, we are going to build trust. We're going to position you as the go-to in this specific area to solve this problem, not the specific go-to as a dietitian, right? Not the specific go-to as a personal trainer, but the go-to for helping people drop fat fast, or the go-to for helping people to improve their menopause symptoms, right? The go-to in the outcome and for the client, not the go-to in your industry, although that will happen as a result. Yeah. And then we want to then earn the right to invite them in to work with us. So yes, this might be a slightly longer process, but realistically, you're going to get more people putting up their hands saying yes, and you can push them along quicker rather than having a book to call button or book an initial button that sits there and goes stale, and you don't even know if it works anymore because no one has clicked that button in such a long time, right? Like if you feel like that, then now's the time to create a lead magnet. So then you will also have a list of people on tap who need the solution to the need the solution to the problem that they have and that you can solve it. Yeah. So keep the book a call link there. It's fine for now. However, I would absolutely be adding a really clear lead magnet that follows those 4 principles. I'll repeat them again so you can pause this, grab a pen if you need, or look in the show notes, even better, and take a screenshot. But it is solving one small, specific, and known problem. It is something that is an easy heck yes for your ideal clients to put up their hand or put their contact details in exchange to get it. And it directly ties into your paid offer. It doesn't cannibalize it, and it showcases your unique method. Okay. So hopefully that's helped you understand a little bit more about what I believe is needed for coaches in the low trust environment that we have these days, and how to get out of the trap of just hoping people will book a call in that button by creating lead magnets that give a ton of value. Until next time, move swiftly. Hey, coach, before you go, the reason I do this every single week and the reason we've been able to surpass 100 episodes is because of you. So thank you. We're on a mission towards never seeing another coach leave the industry because they didn't have the skills or the confidence to scale. So if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that before you forget. I read every single one of the comments and share as many as I can. So if you found this episode valuable, sharing it with a friend who might be able to benefit from hearing it would honestly mean so much to me. Until next time, and in whatever you do, move swiftly.